All right, so today I am 38 weeks and 5 days. So I've decided that I am going to do a weekly update because we're just getting down there, and I think we're kind of on baby watch now. I think we can officially say we're on baby watch. 38 weeks, 5 days. So, let's see where we're at. Okay, so I have really good energy still. People keep asking me like every single day, like I come to work and people are like, oh, you're still here. I'm like, yeah, 38 weeks. Like, there's still lots of time. I mean, granted, something could happen at any time, but I don't feel like, for instance, the night before I had Isla, that whole day I just felt so drained, like out of nowhere. So like I specifically told Cullen that I was gonna go to bed early that night, and I just said, I need to get some sleep. Like, I'm so tired. I need to rest. Although I could take a nap right now. But I didn't sleep a whole lot last night. That was my own fault. But I do have really good energy, and I just don't feel that overall fatigue yet. Plus, I feel like the baby is still moving so much. And I remember before I had Isla, she really decreased her movements. Like, she was very active also. And she just kind of like settled down and only moved almost like when necessary. And I feel like this baby is still, like, he moves so much. So I don't feel like either of us have reached a point where either of us are like, okay, we're settling down now, we're getting ready. So yeah, I have good energy. No major body aches or anything like that. I feel very mobile. I feel very like flexible, and nothing like I will say, like, if I sit down, I sometimes need help getting up depending on where I am. Like, a bath has been really nice. I've been taking a bath like once a week the last couple weeks, and I need Cullen's help. I can sit down in the bathtub, but I cannot get up. It's just a really small space, and there's not a lot to hang on to, so I need him. So I text him and I say, I'm done. And he comes upstairs and helps me get out of the bathtub. But I am still pretty active, I feel. I don't have any swelling. I did have swelling with Isla in the last couple weeks, but it was like at one point for like 3 days, just one of my feet, like my ankle and my foot, were swollen, and that was it. But my hands seem fine, my face, except for a little extra chin maybe, but everything else like seems fine. I don't have any swelling in my feet, so I am feeling good that way. Cravings, so I have definitely more like had the munchies lately. It's really difficult to eat a full meal, and that's hard to do because I know that in my head it just makes it a little bit harder to feel like I'm getting all that I need, because I sit down and maybe like for dinner I'll make, chicken and veggies and something else, but I only want like just a few bites of chicken and a little bit of veggies, and that's like all I can eat. So it's hard to kind of make, like, I feel like I'm grazing so much, and I'll be like, well, I'll just eat a couple bites of chicken now, and then like in an hour and a half I suddenly want something else. But I've definitely been craving salty things, which again, like, isn't abnormal for me at all. Like, non-pregnancy, I always want salty things, but I feel like lately, like the other night, I asked my husband to go to the store and pick up a bag of potato chips and French onion dip. And then like last night I really wanted popcorn, so I made some popcorn, and I don't know, yeah, been really wanting salty stuff lately. Vegetables though, on that note, I feel like I've actually kind of gone back to my first trimester when vegetables were really hard to stomach and I did not want any vegetables. They were just like repulsive. And I kind of feel that way again. Like I'm very selective right now with the vegetables that I want to eat. A couple days ago, we had some leftover broccoli and I don't like wasting food and the broccoli was still good. So I was like, well, I need to eat it. Plus I need some vegetables, but it was so hard to eat. And it was just like a cup. Like I had like a leftover container and that was so hard to eat those pieces of broccoli. I just felt like any minute I just was like, oh, I'd rather just throw it out like at this point, but I didn't want to throw out food and I knew that I needed to eat it. So I just kind of like just like almost like plug my nose and chew because it just was not enjoyable. The two things that I can really get into right now though are green beans and asparagus. Like asparagus has remained constant probably through my entire pregnancy. I've eaten so much asparagus. That's the number one vegetable I've eaten. So asparagus for the win. Sleep. So like I said, I feel like I have good energy, but I have just not been sleeping the best. And part of it is me, like I do feel like I'm not going to bed very like on time. And I've been staying up late, and for me that's like any time past 10 o'clock. And I feel like there's this like weird part of me that just wants to stay up late because I know that it's like the last bit of my me time. I just feel like I put Isla down to bed at 7 and then I clean and like get, you know, laundry done and whatever else like I'm working on that night at the house. I get that done, but then I feel like I just want to sit and like watch Netflix and like binge watch like all this stuff because I feel like it's my me time, and I know that like any day now that time's not gonna be there because I'm gonna be having to take care of a baby. So, and I also know that like I'm gonna go on maternity leave, and I think the difference between maternity leave this time versus the first time was the first time I sat and watched Netflix like all the time. You know, I'd just be like plop down on the couch and have a baby in my hands and the baby would just sleep, or you know, that was just my whole life. Like we just spent a lot of time just hanging out and the TV was on in the background. Oh my God. Oh, excuse me. And I watched like a whole bunch of stuff on Netflix that I wasn't able to watch, you know, before. But that's different this time because I don't like the TV on for like Isla's never watched TV at our house. I know that maybe at some grandma and grandpa's houses she watches some TV because they have it on, but not a whole lot. But I'm not a fan of having the TV on at the house. I didn't grow up watching TV all the time. My parents shoot us outside, and I really like that because it kind of just made us, I feel like it made us more creative as kids, and we had a lot more imaginary play, and we played with each other and like interacted with other people instead of just sitting in front of a TV all the time. And I don't want my kids, especially with the whole screen time epidemic right now, I just don't want my kids to fall into that like before they need to, if that makes sense. Like I know that when they go to school, like iPads are everywhere and computers are everywhere, and like when they go to school that stuff is going to be there, but I'd rather them not. Like I try not to spend a whole lot of time on my phone when Isla's around, and like giving her like my direct attention. And like I said, we don't have the TV on when she's awake. So my leave will be different this time because I'm gonna have to, I don't know, we'll probably be listening to a lot of music because I'll need something to kind of like pass the day in a way. But I think it's gonna go fast. Like if it's anything like the first time, my days were like, I wake up and then suddenly I was going to bed again, because a newborn takes up all your time, and so will a newborn and a toddler. But sleep is okay. What I'm finding is I actually am having like crazy dreams. My dreams wake me up, and then I think about them and like how fucked up they are, and then I can't go back to sleep. And they're usually dreams that like I'm either dreaming about somebody I don't want to dream about, or I'm dreaming about doing something I don't want to do, or I just don't like enjoy the way that the dream is going, and I wake up and just sit there and like try and shake it off. So I'm trying to, I don't know. I know that like the nights are, you know, that's going to be over soon, but it makes it hard to sleep. I can deal with the tossing and turning. My doctor so when I went to the hospital a couple weeks ago for that little scare, the doctor there did prescribe me Vistaril, and I wasn't into taking it at first. I did take it that night, like I think I shared in that video for that week. I took it that night and I slept so well, and I took it the next night at home and I slept very well. And then when I was having a really bad headache a few weeks ago, my doctor said that I should take the Vistaril again that night. And so I did, and my headache went away and I slept really well. And I haven't wanted to take it since, because I just don't like taking meds for anything. But I am tempted to maybe take a half dose. I was going to take a half dose last night, and then by the time I was going to bed, it was already so late. It was like, I don't know if I need this. So I think tonight my goal is to maybe take a half dose, like at 8:30, and hopefully like try and get myself to bed at a decent time tonight. And just in combination with both of those things, maybe I'll have a much better night of sleep. So I'm gonna try that. I'm not having any contractions. I did have an appointment yesterday, and my doctor checked me and said that I'm still just closed for business, and the baby is head down. That was one thing I did want her to check, because with Isla at 36 weeks she was head down, and then the next week at 37 weeks she was breech. So she had flipped, and we scheduled an ECV to have her turned, and that I just didn't want to have any of that happen again, because I'm already well into 38 weeks and this baby seems bigger. So I wanted to double check that he was head down, because on the off chance he wasn't, we don't have a lot of time to try and turn him, or I think just like the chances of success in doing that procedure go down the later, like the further into your pregnancy you go, as you get closer to your due date. So he's head down, and she said he's pretty locked in there, but his head is still high. So she said she couldn't feel the head, but she did a quick ultrasound, everything was fine. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, no contractions. I don't have any, like, I don't know, what are they called? Braxton Hicks. Haven't had anything like that. You know, the doctor always asks, like, any bleeding or anything or leaking? No. Which I think is funny, because I know that it's their job to ask, because sometimes patients aren't very forward, but I'm the kind of patient that, like, I will tell you if I have something or a concern or anything. And so, no. But no contractions. And it was funny because my doctor's kind of like, her theory changed a little bit. In the beginning of the appointment, she was talking about how, like, okay, we're well into 38 weeks. Like, babies, you know, they could come anytime now. You know, the baby could come tonight, tomorrow, or next week, or whatever. But she kind of made it sound, she kind of kept talking like the baby was going to come sooner this time. I had Isla at 41 weeks on the dot, and right now, like even before the appointment, I was feeling pretty good and figured, like, I think I can make it at least to 39 weeks, possibly even 40. Like I just don't feel like anything's gonna happen. But then after she checked me and did the ultrasound, then her story kind of changed, and she's like, yeah, we're probably gonna be a bit longer. Like you may go closer to 40. But I already have, so that was yesterday, which is a Monday. So I had an appointment Monday. Then I have another appointment on Friday this week. I was supposed to have one last week, but it was canceled because my doctor ended up needing to be at the hospital instead. And we agreed that I was fine not going in as long as she was okay with it. And if anything concerning happened, I would go in, but nothing happened. So I will see her again on Friday, and I don't know if I'll get checked or not. I haven't decided. I kind of don't care. I don't know if anything significant is going to happen, just knowing me and my body and my history with another pregnancy. I don't think that anything crazy is going to happen between yesterday and Friday. So we'll go in and we'll just see how baby's doing and go from there. So that is 38 weeks, 5 days.